Hey everybody, welcome back to LeftPawGaming. Today we've got some more of my walkthrough footage of Lost Judgment. Last video, we got the arcade to leave us alone after our interaction with Akatsu and Soma, the leaders. This video, we're going to be interviewing Yui Mamiya, the victim of Ehara's groping incident. Let's jump in. Alright, let's see how this interview goes. So we're trying to poke a hole in the case that she's already testified for of having somebody grope her on the train. Okay.
Remember, we're speaking to a victim here, Yagami-san. One whose assailant we defended in court. If we had tried to make an appointment, she probably would have declined outright.
I'm on the fence here.
Not sure showing up unannounced is much better, so let's just hope she's willing to talk.
Yes, there's no way around it. It's a risk we had to take.
I like the logic.
Well, here goes nothing.
She's either in on it, or the police are in on it. There's one of the two. Yes. Somebody's in
I'm
on it with him.
I'm Shirsaki from the Genda Law Office, the attorney for Mr. Akihiro Ehara. You may remember me from the hearings.
Why are you here? Don't you know it's rude to show up at someone's door uninvited?
I understand, but we have a pressing matter that directly concerns you. If we could do this another way, we would. I apologize for any inconvenience.
I'm sorry, but the trial's over and done with. You know I can legally turn you away.
Yeah.
You're right, but I'm only asking a moment of your time. Please, would you mind?
Nice.
I don't have time for this. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Wait, before you do that. Sorry to butt in. I'm Yagami, a detective helping Saori here out.
And?
Oh god, how do we... Oh my god. Sweet talker. Empathize. Hopefully this works.
Are you aware of the trending video that's leading people to believe Ehara committed murder? Thing is, the victim was confirmed to be alive in Yokohama until the morning of your own incident. And since Ehara was on the train with you, they're ruling him out as a murder suspect.
So, what is it you're getting at?
Just trying to ensure you're in the clear from any of that unfortunate business. If we could do this now, we'd never bother you again. All we need is 10 minutes of your time.
Okay.
How absurd.
We're only trying to help, but if later would work better for you, we could always come back another time. With our supervisor, of course.
Nice.
That visit would probably be more formal. There'd be paperwork, audio tapes, you know the drill. You'll want to clear your schedule.
I really don't have time for any of that.
No, I understand, and it's entirely our fault. We thought we'd do this casually, but we really should have been more by the book. But it is a murder case, so we do have to make sure our paperwork is in order here. Now, would you prefer to schedule a date to accommodate a more formal interview?
Nice. Definite manipulation.
You said 10 minutes if we do it now.
Yep.
Right?
Let us in.
We'll make it as painless as possible.
All right. Hold on.
We really do appreciate it.
Well, I'm impressed. I'm also not sure I should trust a word you say ever again.
Really? I did get us in the door, didn't I?
I'm joking. I do appreciate the help. Now let's not screw this up. This is likely the only conversation we'll have with Mamiya-san.
Well, let's hope we don't screw it up then.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. Again, we apologize for the intrusion.
Let's just get this over with already.
She looks like a girl from Sawa's picture.
bye-bye. We'll make this quick.
Although that kind of sounds bad. Just everybody looks like everybody. No, I don't think that. She kind of looks like Amasawa.
Hey.
Out of anybody. I guess just, you know, the short hair. So we're observing. Getting notes of the lifestyle. Some more pictures down here to look at.
What the?
What the? It's a bike. Just. There's a bat right by the door.
Uh-huh.
He's wearing the same clothes, and she's wearing her regular office attire, it appears. Another kid's drawing.
Suspicious.
Look at those boxes there on the floor. Nothing's popping up there. Alright, let's keep going this way. Anything on this board? Not this one. Nothing on the hangers.
Hey. Suspicious.
What's that?
Hey.
What's that kid doing?
Suspicious.
Is he glitching, or is that what I have to look forward to with my son? I think he's just stuck in the door. Bad coding. Oh, investigation complete. Let's dive in. Conversation time.
So, talk. I've already told the police and the court everything they could want to know about that morning.
I'm sorry to put you through this again, but would you mind going over those details with us?
What else is left to discuss?
I understand how pressured you might feel.
I've gone over this so many times. I wonder if pressing charges was even worth it.
No, what you did was both brave and inspirational.
That was great.
Many victims are afraid to come forward for any number of reasons. Your voice might give them courage to find their own.
Ironic. Hearing this from that predator's defense team.
Well, perhaps.
Would you mind walking us through that day from the beginning?
It's nothing so mysterious. I was just on my way to work when some man grabbed my butt. That's all it was.
Nothing else was out of the ordinary that day?
Correct.
Not to pry, but where is your husband today?
Still at work? He usually doesn't get home until later. On that note, I have to feed my son, so let's get this wrapped up soon.
We'll try our best to. Moving along. On that day, you and Ehara-san boarded the train bound for Ikebukuro, correct? Had you ever seen the man before
Her in
that?
the pink, him in the green.
No. At least not that I can recall. How many times must I go over this? Your lawyer friend here already knows everything I have to say. What do you gain by getting me to repeat things?
That's the thing. Yagami-san here is a specialist. He can take whatever you repeat, analyze it, and draw up an entirely new conclusion. Right?
Of course. That's exactly why I'm here.
Great. The pressure's really on. Well, let's do it then.
In the security footage as you stepped onto the train, it looks like Ehara-san stepped right behind you. Were you aware of his presence at this point?
I was. It felt like someone kept pushing up against me with no sense of personal boundaries. I remember second-guessing myself at the time, thinking it was normal for the train to be that packed.
Then the train took off while you were stuck in that situation.
Yes. And then I felt the back of his hand against me. It kept getting worse from there, to the point where he went under my skirt.
Jesus.
And the pig had the nerve to write it off as an accidental brush on a crowded train. But that kind of touch wasn't accidental. He even grabbed at me.
Truly awful. And I do sympathize. I've also had to turn in an abuser like that.
Wow.
Personally speaking, some men can't wait to debase themselves at the first
Oh,
opportunity.
he's staring at him.
Why would you say that and look at me?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I just stood there, frozen. I couldn't see who was touching me. I had no idea what to do. I wanted to scream. But what if he just played it off? So I decided I would bear it till the next station.
Are you okay, Mommy?
I'm fine, sweetie. We're just having a bit of grown-up talk. Are you hungry?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, of course
Then
I am.
go read your book and wait over there for Mommy. We're almost done.
Right now, my son says he's hungry and then he doesn't eat. I can't wait for him to say I'm hungry and actually eat. He eats so sporadically, it's wild. Apparently it's normal.
You said the abuse lasted the entire 6 minutes between Ikebukuro and Shinjuku Station. Did you see the groper's face at any time during that span?
No. I was too terrified to look. And I thought, even if I did, he'd just pull away and escape. But just as the train was pulling into Shinjuku, I reached back and grabbed the hand on me. That's when I saw his face. Of course, he shook me off as the doors opened, but I'd already gotten a clear look at him. He must have known I could turn him in at that point. So he ran, and I chased after.
Maybe she is involved,
Right.
man.
That was captured by the station's security cameras.
Great job tailing him in such a crowded space. On that note, did you ever happen to lose sight of Ehara-san while running?
His cat was pretty easy to spot, and no one else was bolting off the platform like that, so I never lost sight of him. At that point, I could feel my voice returning, so I just screamed. That man grabbed me!
I'm glad there were good Samaritans nearby.
For sure. And there were a lot of smartphones out, so I figured there was no way for him to get away with it. I was so relieved.
I see. I think I've got the gist of it. But now we've got a piece of evidence that contradicts what you've told us.
Oh,
What do you mean?
what is that? That's the trace element stuff. That's a transit card. These are just pictures. The video's the next one. I'm going to show this. It's probably going to be the video that we have to show, but we'll try.
Despite what we just went over, wouldn't you say this contradicts your account of the incident?
I'm not sure what you mean. Did I say something odd?
No, Yagami-san is currently the odd one here.
Okay, we chose wrong.
Shoot. Yeah, that wasn't what I had in mind at all. If you'll allow me to rephrase.
I guess it's gonna be the video, man. Wow, really? We're gonna show her this? Hopefully it's not the whole thing. Maybe it's just him, like, taking it off. Like, this has to be, or taking the helmet off.
Well, on the same day, at 6:30 a.m. in Yokohama, a student teacher named Hiro Mikushiba was sent off to work by his mother. But he was soon abducted near his home, only to be found dead much later in Ijincho.
Is that...
According to the video, Ehara-san here is the murderer.
what?
He killed Mikushiba in cold blood to get vengeance for his bullied son. His kid was about to graduate high school, but instead, he took his own life. So Ehara took it upon himself to punish his son's tormentor.
I like the
awful.
music,
But now we come back to the issue
stepping
here.
up the emotion.
If this footage is authentic, then Ehara-san couldn't have been your assailant. The victim's estimated time of death and Ehara-san's time of arrival in Tokyo simply don't allow for it. It's just not possible for someone to make that commute. But there's the flip side. If Ehara-san was in fact your assailant, it would mean this murder footage is a fabrication.
I don't know what you expect me to say after all this.
Right? Now you know how we're feeling. That's why we came to see if you had any leads for us.
So that's what
Kinda
this is about.
does. There's a few
After
things
hearing
she
your
said.
story, I have no doubt you endured a lot that day. Which would obviously mean that murder video was faked.
Then, who shared that video? And why?
Well, that's something
Wish
we
I
have to
knew.
look into.
Based on the quality, something this convincing would need quite a budget. Whether it's CG on top of real murder footage, or just a rock-solid AI creation, no way it was cheap. So why go through all this effort to fake a murder? Who would benefit from it? But I have to say, I feel much closer to piecing this puzzle together with your help today. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, and rest assured, this will be the last time you see us. Our apologies for the unexpected visit. And for dredging up unpleasant memories.
It's fine. So long as this is really the end of it all.
So I don't know, man. I feel like her saying his cap was easy to spot, that's not like the same as like, oh yeah, I never lost sight of him or anything like that. There's a little bit of a hole there.
I'd like to report Mamiya-san's account to the rest of the team.
But
Can I count on you to be there?
Sure. Let me give Kaito-san a heads up.
I don't know.
All right, then I'll see you there.
If the video's faked, how and who? I wonder if Tsukumo can figure out who uploaded the video, and that's going to be our next lead. We'll find out, though.
Yo, me.
Hey, I just got back to Kamurocho. Everything good? Any news?
All good here, man. What's with you? You worried Arcade got to me or something?
Yeah.
I mean, they did run their mouths about stabbing us in the back. But if you're good, I'm good. Anyway, I'm heading to Genda so Saori-san and I can go over what we learned from Mamiya.
You're the boss. As for me, I'm calling it a day.
You do that.
Alright, so I guess we head inside to go over what we learned, right? Yep, talk to Saori and the others. Let's go! Let's barge in. Oh, it popped up. Let's go on this side, though. There
Are
we
we
go.
ready, Yagami-san? Let's start with our visit to Mamiya-san, if that sounds reasonable to you.
Oh, I have a choice. Might be the end
Yeah,
of the chapter
let's
here,
start
then.
there.
Interesting.
So, the victim's story is completely in line with her court testimony, huh?
That's correct. There wasn't anything new to pick up.
Unfortunately.
In which case, should we look into the murder video instead? Like, figure out how they made it?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Whether that tape's fake or real, someone had to put it online, right? Do we have any theories on who that might be?
Well, the footage showed enough of the surroundings to make the crime scene clear. As somebody who's been there, I can confirm that the blood splotches match what you see in the footage. Which means...
Somebody had to know. Like, somebody with intimate knowledge either recreated the murder scene with Ehara's face. Let's see. I say Ehara's accomplices.
the murderer's accomplices have to be the ones who posted it for him.
Yeah, I can't see it any other way.
I also agree with Yagami-san.
Boom!
But in that case, what would their motive be?
Kind of leaves it out there.
Maybe they wanted to make a mockery of the police.
Yeah.
Or even the whole system.
Huh?
We know Ehara got himself convicted for groping, so he'd have an alibi for Mikushiba's killing. But then, his conspirators turned it around by uploading the murder video online. Almost as if to say, look how he got away with it.
Right? It's like a slap
I
in the
see.
face.
Yeah, that does make it sound like he's taunting them.
That's well and good, but I'd like to shift gears. Let's talk about the actual fabrication of the video. How does one go about that?
Well, for example, the true culprit would be taped murdering Mikushiba. Then Ehara's face would be copied and blended onto the killers. That's how they'd approach it in a Hollywood movie.
But then, wouldn't you be able to see traces of it being faked?
Right.
Tsukumo-san reported that he's found nothing of the sort in his analysis.
Which means it has to be real,
We've
right?
been down this road before. If we take the stance that the footage is fabricated, we have absolutely nothing to work with.
Then let's tackle this from the stance that the video's actually real. If that's the case, there has to be a flaw in the groping issue. I think we've collected enough evidence to find it too.
Agreed.
Before meeting with Yui Mamiya, didn't you mention the possibility of Ehara using a stand-in?
Yeah.
Perhaps the real Ehara murdered Mikoshiba in Ijincho, then swapped places with the imposter so he could be detained.
We have the trace evidence, though.
But we couldn't find an opportunity for the swap to happen, remember?
Yeah, we could, though.
From the moment he set foot on the Ikebukuro platform, Ehara was constantly on camera.
No, it wasn't. There's that gap.
Wait, that's not entirely accurate, is it?
Huh?
And the proof is... Where's my chart? Here we go. Boom, here's the proof. Look, we
Remember
have the
how
gap.
we mocked up a diagram of the Shinjuku Station platform?
Yeah. Oh, wait! That's it! You could be onto something. There's a point where Ehara wasn't on camera at all.
Exactly.
What is this point you speak of?
Let's all go over the diagram so that everything will be clear. Here's what I want you to see. Hey.
Alright, so let's just go over. Disembark point, apprehended point.
Suspicious.
Show that. The meter didn't fill up. It probably wants me to just to show the little blank spot there, but I'll click everywhere just to make sure.
What the?
Yeah, the meter's not filling up. Swear it was picked up. Let's go back here. Boom, right here. Yep, that's the spot. Of course. I knew it, but
It's very
all
brief.
good.
But there's a moment where Ehara and Mamiya-san can't
Cannot
be
be
seen by
seen.
the security cameras. The dotted lines on the arrow represent the camera's blind spot.
It does appear so. So you're saying this is where the groper, the fake Ehara, traded places with the real one?
Can't say it's impossible, right?
Right. Except if that actually happened, Mamiya-san would have been right behind them at the time.
Would she, though?
Could the two really swap places without her noticing?
In a crowd like that, I think it's feasible.
If that really was Ehara's plan, then I'd say he was being careless.
Careless? How?
Well, on the day of the incident, the station was packed for morning rush hour. That means there was no solid guarantee the assailant could make the switch. He could have been nailed by any random passerby before reaching the blind spot.
Good point. Not only that, if Mamiya-san had called for help while the train was still moving, then the first Ehara would have been caught before even reaching the platform.
Oh, I mean, yeah! Called it.
Think about it, Yagami-san. Why would Ehara's accomplices meticulously plan out every last detail of this alibi, only to leave such a crucial component to chance, as Hoshino-kun pointed out?
Oh, just doing my job.
True. Good work, Hoshino-kun. In fact, I think that may back up my own take on it.
Yeah?
What if everything, including the appearance of leaving the plan to chance, was part of the plan?
Can you expound on that?
Gotta
I'm
make it
saying
seem
I
like it's
agree
too
that such an
coincidental.
airtight alibi wouldn't have allowed for contingencies. And that takes the question to another level. Just how far did they line up the
Yep.
pieces in advance to make the swap
Yep.
work?
Are you saying there's more to it than we discussed? What did we miss?
Let's plan start to finish. What else can we possibly deduce? Hero's alive. The real murder took place. The prosecution faked the footage. Yui Mamiya is colluding with the Ehara.
I know
find
this
out.
won't go over well, but what if Mamiya was colluding with Ehara all along?
Huh?
Oh, you hear that music?
Bear with
We're on the
me.
path.
Let's say Mamiya was in on this and knew about the imposter in advance. If that's the case, the swap could happen right in front of her and no one but the three of them would know.
That's a great
You're
point.
saying the victim of a groping conspired with her assailant beforehand? That's ridiculous.
Is it though? Yeah, I mean, not really the best part, but
Let me just say, I'm only trying to work out how a swap like that would be guaranteed to work. Now, if Ehara and his stand-in both know that Mamiya will pretend not to have seen them, they can trade places in the blind spot with impunity. Conversely, if Mamiya wasn't in on the plan, the idea of a swap would never work.
right.
We can say with certainty that she would have seen the swap, so... She could have even called attention to the real Ehara the moment he stepped in. That way, the people around her would be focused on chasing the correct assailant. The rest is as we know it. They caught Ehara and detained him until the police showed up.
Hold that thought. If your theory is accurate, what about Ehara's trace evidence? Remember that fibers of the victim's underwear were detected on his hand.
Hard to get
Well,
past that.
That can also be explained by Mamiya being in on the plan. For example, while the stand-in was showing himself at the security cameras, Mamiya could have easily provided Ehara access to a pair of underwear at the same time.
Really though?
Maybe the stand-in loitered around for so long because he was letting everyone else get themselves in place.
It's not impossible.
We can work out the other details later. But the point is, Ehara's murder alibi is shot if Mamiya was involved.
Agreed.
In summary, it's possible Ehara disgraced himself to secure an unshakable alibi for Mikushiba's murder.
But how would you get
I'll
somebody
concede
involved
that it's
in
an
that?
avenue worth pursuing.
And when it comes to the prosecution, they can't just admit they got the first case so wrong. Plus, they can't question Ehara about Mikushiba's murder. In fact, their only option is to claim the tape was faked.
So he managed to make a farce out of the system after all.
Certainly what it seems like right now, but
His court case for his son's bullying did get more or less thrown out, didn't it? The school, the investigative committee, and the court all agreed there wasn't enough evidence to convict anyone. No surprise for me that the guy held a grudge against the system for so long.
Hold on. Before we all decide on this,
What's up?
the obvious question to me is why would Mamiya be party to such a crime?
yes,
She appears
exactly.
more than financially stable, and she's even raising a child.
Where's her husband, though?
So why would she do something so enormously risky as helping establish a murder alibi?
Is her husband
Yeah, I
missing
haven't
because
gotten
of
that
this?
far yet. But maybe she was promised something that far exceeds the risk. Or maybe Ehara has some kind of dirt on her even?
Enough to make her
Maybe.
help with a murder? What sort of secret would be big enough to force someone into that corner?
What info do we have on Mamiya anyway? Maybe we can spot a connection to Ehara through her profile.
Pull it up.
I'll pull her information. Just a second.
Yep. Let's look into it.
Oh, I just thought of something else those two would have guaranteed by working together.
What's that?
If Ehara wanted to use this crime as a murder alibi, he needed it to blow up into the public eye. But if he had chosen a victim who stayed silent, then nothing would have come of it.
Oh man, that's a
solid
great point.
plan would need to eliminate that variable, which means Mamiya being an accomplice was crucial to Ehara's success.
You need to make sure she would make a stink out of it, like a big
Looks like
deal.
Ehara pulled one
Okay.
over on the prosecution then. Had his accomplices right where he wanted them, even his victim. Once we learn how he's connected to Mamiya, we can root out the rest of his team.
Let's
Jesus.
see. According to her file, her
If
maiden
this is right,
name
this is unraveling
Yui
interestingly.
Suzuki. 30 years old, so that's consistent. Originally from Ota, Tokyo. Attended a private high school called Kurakawa Academy. Later
Kurakawa.
graduated from Toto University.
Huh.
Met her husband on the job, apparently. Her husband, Taichi Mamiya, is an industrial designer at Techno Zeta Inc. 6 years ago, she gave birth to their only son, Sotakun, who's now in first grade.
Hold on. You said she went to Kurakawa Academy? I heard that name in Ijincho. If I recall correctly,
Oh, those dudes spying on us when we were at the crime scene. Hold on now.
when I went to scope out the murder scene, there were these 3 guys watching the detectives and me. They told us they were just checking things out, but they mentioned they're Kurakawa grads too.
You have any ID on you?
Will my license work?
Kake-san, age 30.
Akaike-san, age 30. Mommy is 30 as well.
That's
What's
getting
that got to
deeper.
do with anything? Aren't we trying to find a connection between Mamiya and Ehara?
I found the Kurakawa Academy website. Looks like they're pretty prestigious. It's in Tokyo, specifically in Ota. Pretty close to where Mamiya lived. Oh,
What?
the girls there get such cute uniforms.
You're ridiculous.
You little... You want to start all over from the bar
Yeah.
exam?
Wait,
Get him, Genda.
I've seen that uniform before too, actually.
Where?
On an old picture of a teacher at Serio High.
No
Sawa
way,
sensei.
was I right?
Ehara's son had confided in her.
Is the one all the way on the right Mamiya?
Is she actually a Kurakawa grad too?
Get out of here.
I don't know Sawa Sensei's exact age, but she could well be 30. Maybe all of them are even classmates.
Could this mean they're actually linked? The
Yo.
victim and her up to now unrelated assailant?
It's a tenuous link at best. Could fall apart any time. But no true detective alive would pass it up.
Alright guys, we're going to cut this video off right here. That brings us to the end of Chapter 5. What revelations are popping up? I think I got a little bit excited there when I thought that I was right calling that Mamiya and Sawa-sensei knew each other. We may find out that that's true, but we're not going to know for sure until we come back in the next video. But when we come back, we begin Chapter 6, Converging Heat, and let me tell you, Chapter 6 is a wild chapter. This play session that I'm in takes us at least through the end of Chapter 6. Actually, to the end of Chapter 6. I stopped when Chapter 6 ends. But Chapter 6 is wild. I can't wait for you guys to see it. So as usual, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We will see you guys in the next video.